All right, welcome to Virtual School Assembly today. I'm very pleased to introduce Dr. Siegal. So Dr. Siegal is with us here today. Now, she has a fascinating story, and I'm going to let her tell her story, but she's been involved with professional baseball for a long time and has worked as a sports psychologist and done a number of different things within Major League Baseball and other baseball organizations. And so we want to hear her story. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to her. Here you go, Dr. Siegal.
Well, thank you for having me. As a former school teacher, I love talking to kids and I love kids and I know everything that kids are possible, like everything that I know you're capable of doing, all these great things. So my journey started when I was just a little kid. I played t-ball in a league, and then I continued to play baseball with my brother in my local community league. And I really enjoyed it. I was the pitcher and the catcher and shortstop. But then suddenly I got a new coach at 13, and he decided that he didn't think I should play baseball because girls are supposed to play softball. And I thought, geez, but I'm good at this game and I love this game. Why should I quit? And so I decided I wasn't going to quit, and the coach couldn't make me quit. So I kept playing baseball. And I went on and I played in my high school, and I played on into college ball. And then eventually I ended up becoming the first woman to coach professional baseball. And I think if I had listened to that coach when I was 13, decided that what I couldn't do, then I wouldn't have been able to achieve my dreams. When I was 15 or 16, I decided I was going to be a baseball coach. I finally realized I wasn't going to play for the Cleveland Indians, which was my team. And my dream was to be a Cleveland Indian. I used to sleep with my bat next to me in case I wanted to swing in the middle of the night. But then I realized I wasn't going to make it. So I thought, well, I'm going to stay in the game, and I want to be a coach. So I told another coach that I had about my dream, and I was a real shy kid, but I wanted to tell him what I thought I could do. And I told him I wanted to become a college baseball coach. And he laughed at me. And I was so embarrassed that I had shared this dream with him. And he laughed at me and said, no man would listen to a woman on a baseball field. And I couldn't believe he said that to me, because he was my hero. Like, I looked up to him as my coach. And I just started thinking, I'm not going to listen to him. Who is he to decide what I can do? And so at 16 years old, I started learning more and more about baseball, not just what position I played. I was a pitcher, third baseman, but also other positions, so I could start becoming the best baseball coach I could. And I proved him wrong. And I am coaching as an assistant coach for 3 years at Springfield College. And I can tell you that players don't care if I'm a girl. They care about whether you can make them a better player. Can you help them win? Can you help them be successful? Do you care about them as people? And if you have those things, then they're going to accept you. So from there, I was like, oh, I think I could do more. So I just kept going through my list of dreams as when I was a kid. And I remember when I was in high school, I saw a coach throw batting practice to the Indians, to the players. And I thought, I wonder if I could do that. I bet I could do that. So at 37, I was 37 years old. I decided I'm going to try to throw batting practice to a major league team. And after a lot of work, I ended up throwing batting practice to a major league team. Actually 6 major league teams: the Indians, the Astros, the Cardinals, the Mets, and the A's. And so after that, because before I threw BP, I actually coached pro baseball. I became the first woman to coach pro baseball in 2009 with the Brockton Rocks in Independent League. So then I took my college experience and that pro experience, and I leveraged it to become a batting practice pitcher at spring training. And from there, I'm like, this is amazing. I love baseball. I've got a closet full of MLB uniforms because I got to throw to all these teams. And I thought, I'm going to keep going. And I became a scout school graduate of Major League Baseball and an associate scout. And what that means is I would look at high school players and college players and evaluate whether or not they might have what it takes to become a pro baseball player. And then in 2015, I became the first woman to coach for the A's. See my jersey? The Oakland Athletics. But here's the thing about the Oakland Athletics. I coached for them during their instructional league, which is when they take some of their best minor leaguers and work extra with them. The thing is I had to ask for 4 years. 4 years I asked the A's, can I come coach? First year, can I come coach? No. Second year, can I come coach? No. Third year, can I come coach? No. 4 years later, I made my dream happen. And one of my A's jerseys is now in Cooperstown at the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I've been able to travel all around the world with baseball. I've been able to meet all kinds of people, and I love being able to reach out and use the game of baseball to do my best to help others. It's an honor to make history as the first woman, but it's more important we build a better future. And that's why I started Baseball for All, which is a national nonprofit for girls to play baseball. Because if I was told that I shouldn't play baseball because I was a girl, I don't want other girls to be told the same thing. So now we start girls baseball programs in communities. We support girls playing baseball with the boys. And to me, baseball is the greatest game on earth and everyone should get to play. So Baseball for All is a program around the country where girls can play baseball with other girls. And what's really exciting is that I was the first woman to coach pro baseball, but this year there's now 4 women coaching pro baseball within minor league baseball and Major League Baseball. So it's really exciting. And I think the most important part about my story is that there's nothing really special about me. I'm not like super smart, super athletic. I just have determination and a desire to never give up and an idea where I want to go. And these things, this passion, this determination, it's in all of us. Even when you're 9 years old, that's already in you. You have it. And those are the qualities that are going to make you successful. It's not about being a superstar. It's about following your passion and deciding to never give up if that's what you really, truly love to do. So I know if I can make my dream come true, so can you. Thanks.
Thank you. Now, you just said something that I have to disagree with, and we'll go back to it, but you said there's nothing special about me, and then you listed something that's special about you, which is your determination, your resiliency, your ability to continue moving forward even when people say no. And it sounds like that started at a really young age. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about that coach that you dealt with when you were 13. You know, my coach also approached me when I was 13, and he said I shouldn't be playing baseball anymore. And it's because I stink at baseball. But you obviously were competing at a high level even back then. And your coach made the decision for you that no, now you can't play with the boys anymore. I'm curious about that. When you said it was heartbreaking and devastating, logistically, what did that mean? So now that baseball wasn't an option, could you even play softball at the same time, or what kind of options did you have available to you at that time?
Well, sure. The difference is that he told me he didn't want me on his team, but he couldn't make me quit. So I stayed on the team. And he still played me at shortstop, because of my skills. So it's been hard to find opportunities. For example, my first high school wouldn't let me try out. And so I played softball for like half a season. And then I ended up playing against my high school at a camp. And once they saw me play and I said, can I try out? Then they let me play. And we think I might be the first girl in Ohio to have played high school baseball. I'm not sure because that was never my goal. My goal was simply to play the game that I loved. Right,
of course. Now, you had a lot of people who told you no. Were there people that told you yes, that supported your dreams and your goals? Did you have a support group, or what was that like, especially in the early years?
I think the biggest thing is that my father never asked me to quit, or he never said, "Oh, I think it's time for you to switch to softball."
Hmm.
He never said anything like that. He just made playing baseball seem like the norm, even
Hmm.
though I knew it wasn't because I felt the pressure of being the only girl. Um, but I just played, like I said, I played baseball with my brother till I was 12 years old, and it's interesting because I was so much better than my brother because I practiced all the time.
Right.
But he was never told to quit. It wasn't about skill. It was just someone thinking what a girl can't do.
Hmm.
And I'm a big believer in not letting girls or boys, we don't need to fit into a box. We need to follow our passions. So whatever your passion is, don't let someone say, no, boys don't do that, girls can't do that. Just go for it. Be yourself. Let yourself shine through.
So a lot of kids today do struggle with this because still are a lot of stereotypes that say you can do this, you can't do that, whether it's your gender or maybe your ethnicity or whatever it is. For those kids who are struggling right now because they feel like the whole world's against them, what you just said was be okay being you and pursuing what you want. But how do you deal with that when people are saying no and you can't do it? I mean, did you feel totally alone during that time?
I felt pretty alone, but here and there I had people say that I could do it or be supportive. I had coaches every once in a while who would bring me on the team even if I didn't get to play as much.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's really important is to know that there are people who are supportive of you. It may not be the people you thought or hoped,
Right.
but you have teachers, in your school. And if it's one teacher saying one thing, go find another teacher, because teachers are really amazing people who really care about you. And it's sometimes they get a little stuck in what they think.
Yeah.
But I think the majority are very open to how can they help you with your passion. I found a lot in books. I like to read books about people who succeeded in their dreams, or even like Harry Potter, where, it's Hermione or Harry Potter or Ron, where they succeed, they're against the odds, they're just kids, but they keep going. I think if you really have that passion, follow it. I can't guarantee that you'll get where you want to go, but I can say if you follow your passion, you're going to fall in love with what you end up doing. For example, I didn't end up playing for the Cleveland Indians, but I started a nonprofit. I was able to pursue another job and ended up coaching. And I think that if you follow what you're really passionate about, you're going to end up with a pretty good life, because you're going to be able to help people, whether you end up becoming an art teacher or a PE coach. There's greatness in all of these jobs. There's no one job that's more important than the other. So if someone tells you you can't do something, just say, I'm going to go for it. Find someone who can, whether it's your friend or whether it's another teacher or coach, or you can contact me and I'll let you know you can.
That's awesome. Now, towards the end there, you talked about when you went to the A's organization and asked, to be involved, and they said no 4 times. Usually when that happens, it's not just about getting a yes or a no, but there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes so that when you go to them the second time, you're using a different approach or you have a different skill set. Can you talk a little bit about that? How was it going to the same organization over and over again? Were you just going through the same process, or did things change from number 1 to number 2 to number 3?
Well, it was the A's, Billy Beans, with the A's, who said that I could throw BP to him first. So he was the first guy who said, yes, you can make history and throw BP to us. So I really felt that he was a forward-thinking guy.
Sure.
And so I just decided he was my guy.
Okay.
And so in those 4 years, I would do what I could to make myself better, a better coach. So for example, one year I said, hey, I finished my PhD in sports psychology, and then I said, can I coach? And you say, hey, I've been a scout. Can I coach? Just reminding them of the ways that I'm becoming better and better as a coach, as a person. I think I wished him Merry Christmas, one email, just to stay in his mind.
Sure.
And it was very easy to quit. I mean, I could have gone on to another goal, but I just stuck with it, and it worked out for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, Randy Pausche talks about sometimes how we have brick walls put on our way to see how badly we want something, and certainly you're an example of that, where you've had so many throughout your life and your career, different walls placed in front of you, and you've shown how badly you wanted because you keep going back and you find different ways around that wall or over that wall, and that's just an amazing example of resilience and determination. I love it. I think, as kids today are in this crazy situation with COVID-19, and they're in a totally different environment. Many are doing school from home for the first time, and there's a lot of uncertainty about the future. Having that resiliency and that determination is key moving forward. What kind of advice do you have for these kids that have an uncertain future right now? They certainly, when you were 13, 14, you didn't know what would happen over the next 20 years or so. And these kids have no clue what the future looks like. Do you have some just general advice about how to move forward in a time when the world's going crazy?
Sure feels like the world is going crazy. It feels like the aliens have landed and we're
Mm-hmm.
all kind of stuck in our home. Well, this will pass. We know this will pass, and soon enough, we'll be out on the fields and out being with our friends and pursuing what we love. I think just remembering that this is kind of a moment in history, and actually figuring out what are some of the best parts about this moment. And I don't mean, meaning we get to spend more time with our parents. That might be a good part. Or with your sibling, you may have learn to collaborate a little more and play games instead of just like throwing the Monopoly at them,
Mm-hmm.
because you're kind of stuck with each other. Reading was always a big thing for me. I always loved to escape into books. When I was 14, I had learning disabilities I didn't even know about. I just knew that I would study and then I would fail. And it didn't matter how hard I studied, I would take a test and I would fail. And I had challenges with writing. And I would have never known I was going to get a PhD. But I was able to find teachers who could help me and who would spend the extra time with me. And then when I had trouble later on in school, what I did is remember the times when I did accomplish. So meaning drawing back on when I was successful. So that time you got a hit, with bases loaded, or that time you aced that math test or that spelling test after you studied hard. Being able to draw back on your success as a kid, as when you were 9 or when you were 11, and now you're 15, and now you're thinking, you have had success. So remember that success and bring it with you. And even though it seems like the world's really wonky right now, and it is a little wonky, it's going to pass, and the world is going to open up in a whole new way for you.
Great advice. Thank you so much. Well, we've really appreciated having you on the show today. We'll put in the description for this video ways that you can get a hold of Dr. Siegal if you'd like to have her come to your school to speak to you, or for other events. There's information there. Any parting shots or parting words for the kids watching this, Dr. Siegal?
I just say go for it. Whatever it is, go for it. Just pursue what you love, and you can't go wrong.